Hello everybody and welcome to Boston Latino TV Sports. I'm Gil Matos.
And I'm his tag team partner, Omar Cabrera.
That's right, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the Boston Red Sox and more specifically what the Boston Red Sox can do for the 2010 season. As we know, the 2009 season ended in failure, I guess you could say. The Sox reached the playoffs but were swept by the Anaheim Angels in the first round, losing in front of their home crowd at Fenway Park. And really, Omar, a team showing their age, and not only their age, but a team who seemingly left their bats at home throughout this series.
That and also their pitching. You know, we were counting a lot on our starting pitcher, and sad to say that the only one who pitched really, really well in that series was Matos, the one we probably expected the least, you know, coming into that series.
That's right, and what we're seeing is actually a trend. The Boston Red Sox, between 2003 and 2007 in the playoffs, averaged about 5.9 runs per game. Since last year, that number is way down to about 3.5 runs per game. So really a big trend there. And is it no more Manny in the lineup? Is it the absence of different boppers in the lineup? I mean, what is it in your opinion?
I think it's a little bit of everything. You know, like you said at the beginning, definitely age is catching up to them. A lot of injuries this year, especially to somebody like Mike Lowe. You know, then at the end, to me, Kevin Youkilis disappeared towards the end, especially in that series against the Angels. Kevin Youkilis left his bat at home, so I think it was a little bit of everything, and also pitching. So adding up, everything together, yeah, I think the Sox were no match for the Angels this year.
Theo Epstein was asked about next year's team, and the only thing he said, a few free agents, Alex Gonzalez, Tim Wakefield, Jason Varitek, Jason Bay, the big free agent for the Sox this year, but definitely a team that needs some offensive help. If they lose Jason Bay, it's a big impact.
I think that's definitely a big key this year, Gil, because if they lose Bay, like you said, there's a small free agent market this year, so there's nobody out there that we can go after if we lose Jason Bay. So I think the Sox are going to have to probably pay him a lot of money just to keep him in that lineup this year. So Jason Bay, I think, is going to have a lot to say this year if the Red Sox want to keep him.
Well, Jason Bay is definitely going to test the free agent waters, and he should. I mean, you get to this far in the season, your regular season's over. Might as well test the free agent waters at that point. The Yankees are going to throw crazy dollars at him too, even if it's just to drive up the price from the Red Sox. But Jason Bay stands to make a pretty penny this offseason.
If they lose him in the offseason, I think it's going to leave a big gap, not only in left field, but also in that lineup. And, we saw what he did this year. Well, what he did after, coming in for Manny, I think he replaced Manny really well. Maybe not Manny, but he did his thing. And I think he was a big key in that lineup this year.
So looking at this team, I mean, what else can they do in order to improve this offense? Because I think the pitching will come around. I mean, you still have Beckett, you still have Lester for one more year. Buchholz certainly showed great strides this year as well, showing some maturity. I like what I saw from Daisuke when he came back from the injury as well. So they have the pitching there. Their bullpen looks pretty good. Even though Pavlovan was roughed up a little bit, Daniel Bard is going to have an extra year of experience. So I think the bullpen looks good on paper going into next year. But the offense is what needs help. I mean, you have an aging Mike Lowell, an aging David Ortiz. What can they do to help that out?
Another big key would be to see what's going to happen in shortstop. Are we going to bring back Alex Gonzalez? We know the Sox have an option for him this year. But, I think he did pretty well after he came back, later on in the season this year. But the key is, can he do that the whole season? So are they going to bring him back? Are they going to give Jed Lowry the chance to start? Or what are they going to do?
Theo Epstein's big on Jed Lowry, but he did not cancel out the fact that Alex Gonzalez may be back next year. Another question, Jason Varitek, $5 million option that the team has on him. That's not going to happen. They're not going to take that up. A $3 million player option, Varitek can take that. They can either say, okay, you're going to be a $3 million backup catcher, or they're going to shake his hand and say, here's your $3 million, thank you for everything. But as far as what this team can do, some players that may be available out there, some interesting players. Jose Reyes and the New York Mets, they're not too happy with Jose Reyes. The Twins, are they going to be able to re-sign Joe Mauer? You might as well trade and try to get something for him now. So there's some interesting possibilities out there. Are they going to pursue any of these?
That's the other way to go. I think, definitely, like, since we mentioned at the beginning, it's not a big trading market this year. I think another way to go is definitely free agency, the free agency way. And one of them will be Adrian Gonzalez, too. We all know that the Padres, in the trade market, they might want to trade him. So I think that would be a big bet. But then again, you create a lot of problems to first base, third base. What are you going to do with him if you bring him here? So maybe trading Youkilis. That could be another option.
I think Mike Lowell's time will be cut down.
Yeah,
trade Youkilis to get rid of him. But Adrian Gonzalez definitely another possibility. And I mean, if you're the Padres, you're looking at it. We finished in last place with him. We'll finish in last place without him. Might as well get some young players in return and try to rebuild around him.
That's very true. So, you know, a lot of big question marks this year. It should be really interesting, especially because, you know, the free agent market is not big. So it's like one of those years where you don't really have much to do. So, you know, you might have to be creative, do a lot of trades, and see what happens. Your farm system really not as strong this year either. So.
Well, not with bats, but definitely they do have the arms.
Yeah,
but
the arms.
that's all the time we have for this segment here in Boston Latino TV Sports. You can check out all our videos on BostonLatinoTV.com. You want to say that?
Oh, I was waiting for you to talk. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. It's a pleasure working with my man Gil over here, and we'll see you next time.
For Omar Cabrera and Gil Matos.